Hello everybody, what's up tribe, and welcome back to the Matthew and Carlene channel. Today we're going over our personal experience with the green card interview. That's right, we finally did it. Now, I don't want to tell you guys our personal experience with this so you guys can all prepare yourselves for this, if you choose to go the passport bro route. Now, I know a lot of people say that the green card interview is very brutal. I heard a lot of people say that. To that, I'm going to have to say yes and no from my personal experience. Yeah, I'm going to say yes and no to that. Because from my experience with this with Carlene, I think a lot of it depends on what country your foreign wife is coming from. Like if it's a country that's in good standings or not, as well as a combination on how solid of a case you've already submitted to immigration. Like, for example, I think if your wife come from a country like, say, Portugal, Colombia, okay, you can probably expect it to be a little bit on the brutal side, regardless how strong your case is. But if your wife's coming from a country that has good standings with the United States, like the Philippines, and if you have a very airtight case showing that this is, in fact, a legitimate relationship, and you're very legal, and by airtight, I mean you went the extra mile and get actual proof of 2 visits instead of the basic requirement of 1. You have evidence of all the little stuff, like, say, the photos of the family that was in the photos of the first visits are the same ones that are in the second visit. Stuff like that. You have all your communication records, your phone records, text information, all that stuff. Yeah, then, well, I'm not going to say it's not brutal, but I am going to, because the immigration person we were interviewing with did definitely take a don't waste my time kind of attitude. But I am going to say it would be rather rushed from my experience if you're in those circumstances. Yeah, because the interview for me and Carlene, it only lasted about 5 minutes. Yeah. And during that interview, pretty much the only thing our interview asked was some basic, you hand over some additional marriage-based documents, like say, you now have a joint bank account, you have a joint insurance account, stuff like that. And a bunch of yes or no questions of any type of criminal records. Like how she has been arrested in the United States, is she a terrorist? Pretty much the majority of the yes or no questions will be the answer no. Yeah, so it was rather rushed. And I think that's because, hey, Carlene comes from a country in the Philippines that's in good standings with the United States, and we submitted an airtight case that this is, in fact, a legitimate relationship. It was very airtight. We had documentational evidence of everything to the point where there was really nothing to argue against. There really wasn't. Now, as for what you expect to go down during that green card interview, well, as for the location of where you'll be doing the interview, a lot of that depends on your county of residency. A very example, since we live in Osceola County, our meeting took place at an immigration office that was somewhat past the airport. Yeah. So doing that, I highly recommend you just go into the town of Celebration, go on to 417, and I'll take you a straight shot there. You won't have to worry about any I-4 traffic. Yeah. As for the interview itself, as for the getting into the building, well, you can enter the building any time as long as you both have proof that you have a scheduled appointment and you both have your IDs with you to present to the officer who'll be greeting you. Signing in for your appointment, you can only do that 30 minutes prior. So be prepared for that. As for the interview itself, well, let me backtrack. They're also going to give you a number of what your interview number will be, but if it's numbered, if there's already a number on the screen that's above yours, don't worry about that. They don't call in numerical order. That number is just a case number for you. It really is. They're not going to call you by numerical order. Another thing, if you submit a case like this, if you already have an airtight case submitted, and if your country that your wife's coming from is good standing in the United States, like the Philippines, one of the things I very easily notice is that the American husband, was just there to present a visual confirmation that, like, hey, Matthew actually physically exists outside of a piece of paper. Besides that, in my experience, the interview is not interested in you. Quite literally, he had me sit in the Pacific seats while my wife Colleen sat in the seat where she had a camera on her at all times. Yeah. So you have a case like that, you're just there to visually confirm that, like, hey, the American sponsor, aka the husband, physically exists outside of a piece of paper. Besides that, they are not really all that interested in you. They just want to talk to your wife. Yeah. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. That's also, when your wife is checking in for your interview, she's going to be required to get a fingerprint scan. Yeah, there's that you can expect too. But yeah, besides that, it was actually pretty quick. Well, I will admit, we are a little bit annoyed that we have to wait to get the approved for them to review our application for a green card. A little bit annoyed at that. They said it would be like 1 or 3 weeks. But hey, you're dealing with Western bureaucracy here. You are. But yeah, besides that, it was pretty rushed. Yeah, very incredibly rushed. We didn't spend much time at all. So that was our experience. But like I said, that's because the Philippines is in good standing with the United States, and we were able to present an airtight case that this was in fact a legitimate relationship. There was nothing to argue against. Anyways, once you do that, I recommend you guys treat yourself to celebrate. For me and Colleen, we did a drive to Jollibee. Yeah, there's a Jollibee here in Florida. And let me tell you, Jollibee, well, it's pretty well known in the Philippines, not so well known here in America. I am willing to admit to that. So, that's all I got to say for the screen card interview.